discuss with the help of the PowerPoint presentation. So questions and questioning technique. So today's our objectives includes explain the importance of questions, list the purpose of questions, classify the questions according to for the teaching purpose or the training purpose, and describe the characteristics of good questions, and also explain the steps in questioning technique. So first, why these questions? Why we are asking the questions to a trainee? So what is the importance of these questions? Questions are essential teaching tools, and their skillful use is the instructor's main job. So the question can be, the instructor can use the question as a teaching tool, and that can be used in an effective way. And also, a question is the instructor's best resource for creating or maintaining an active learning environment. Suppose a teacher is coming and taking the class and leaving the class without any interaction between. There is no two-way communication, means if the classroom is not active. So there must the instructor have to question the trainees. So then only there becomes an active learning or teaching environment will happen there. And also a good question lead to good communication and understanding among trainees and between the instructors and trainees also. So if when the instructor is asking questions to the trainees, there happens, suppose an instructor is asking a thought-provoking question that the trainees have to think and give the answer. So there will be some communication or understanding will happen, communication happens between the trainees and also between the instructors and the trainees. Next, what are the purpose of questions? There are certain important purposes of asking questions to the trainees. So which are they? Stimulates interest in the lesson. So it is one type of motivation. Then next, helps to maintain attention. So the students will be attentive. If the instructor is asking questions, the students will attend to the class very carefully. Then stimulates thought-provoking of trainees. So if you are asking a thought-provoking question, that the student have to think the answer and recollect the answer from the memory and give the answer. Then enables the trainees to recall the answer from their memory. Same way, if you're asking, so after the presentation, if you're asking a question to the trainee, so he will collect the answer, recollect the answer from the memory and give to you. Then next, enables trainees to clear doubt and misunderstanding. While presentation time, there are some doubts for a trainee. Then he will clear the doubts and his misunderstanding while you are questioning the trainees. Though the students are getting an opportunity to clear it at the time of questioning. Then enables the instructor to find out the effectiveness of teaching learning. So after your presentation as an instructor, you are curious about whether your class is satisfactory or it's useful for the trainees. When you are questioning the trainees, if they are giving the appropriate or correct answer, you can make clear that your class is useful, they understood, they followed the section. And also it serves as a revision. So whatever you taught in the today's class, that can be revised in the questioning part. Again, to create the trainee's confidence of having acquired knowledge. Suppose if you ask a question to the trainee, he is able to give the answer, then he will be confident. I know the answer, so I am confident to give the answer to the instructor. The next, makes the trainees use their previous knowledge and learnings. So that means, for example, in the review part, you are asking questions to the trainees related to the previous topic. So you are checking the previous knowledge of the trainee. That is also one purpose of the question. Establishes communication between instructor and the trainees. So there is a communication of instructor and the trainees are happening. Focus the trainees' attention on the major points to be remembered. So already we told after the presentation, if you are asking questions to the trainees, means you are concentrating to the main points of that lesson. So the student must be able to understand these are the important sections in that lesson. Next, develops the ability to organize ideas and speak effectively. So you are giving the trainees an opportunity to give or to speak during the questioning time. Next, call the attention of inattendee learner. So when you are taking the class, some students are not listening to your class. They are involving in some other activities. So for making that inattendee learner to be attentive, you can use the questioning method. So next, the use of 5 W's and 1 H. So what is this 5 W's and 1 H? These 5 W's stands for who, when, where, what, why, and 1 H means how. So these are called the 5 W's and 1 H. And when you are framing a thought-provoking question, that means the student have to think, recall the information from their memory and respond to your question. So at the time, you have to frame the questions by using these. That type of questions can be framed using these 5 W's and 1 H. So for an example, what is the use of information sheet? So it starts with what? Then why teach one procedure at a time? The question starts with why. So like that, you have to use the 5 W's and 1 H for the questioning, framing the questions. Next, a classification of questions. According to the which step you are using, all of you are aware that 4 steps are there in the teaching process. Which are the steps? That's a preparation, presentation, application, and test. And in each step, which are the type of questions we can use? According to that, there are 4 types of 4 classifications of questions. First one, introductory or preliminary questions. Second one, developing questions. Third one, disciplinary questions. And fourth one, recapitulative questions. So first one, introductory or preliminary questions. Introductory questions are asked at the preliminary stage in order to introduce the subject matter to the learners. These are often meant for testing the knowledge of the trainees to prepare, previous knowledge of the trainees to prepare them for the topic in hand. So by starting your topic, you are asking some questions in the review regarding the previous knowledge, last class what you have taught, relating to that, some questions you are asking. Or in the introduction part, you are asking some questions to the trainees, and these questions can be called as introductory or preliminary questions. Second one, developing questions. Developing questions deals with the main subject matter, and they are called also teaching questions. So when you are presenting a lesson, then at the time, after each objective, you are asking some questions related to the topic. So that is called the current topic. That is called teaching questions or developing questions. They are most useful during the presentation step. That is when you are presenting regarding to the current topic or the current line of thought, you are asking some question. So the main objectives of these questions are to develop a particular line of thought regarding to a particular section, to present significant facts to the learners regarding that current or particular portion, what are the things coming under that, and to keep the people alert throughout, to keep the trainee alert throughout the lesson. So to make the students alert or attentive to your class also, these questions can be considered called the developing questions. Then disciplinary questions means is termed regarding They were asked in order to claim the attention of the inattendee learners to make them participate in the activity of the class. So if any inattendee students are there for making that inattendee trainees attentive, you are asking some questions, means this is categorized in the disciplinary questions. Next, recapitulative questions. Recapitulative questions are highly useful to test the results and the outputs of what the teacher has taught. That is, after the presentation, you have to ask some questions to the trainees. So that is in the application step. So that questions that from the important topics from the lesson, that type of questions are categorized in the recapitulative questions. These questions are generally put at the end of the lesson or even when a particular unit or section of lesson is finished. In addition to these above questions, according to the name, we can tell some of the other type of questions also, just like review questions using in the review time, presentation questions, inviting questions, assignment questions, test questions, examination questions, problem questions, some calculation or anything, means you are asking such type of questions, means it's problem questions, thought-provoking questions, drill questions related to the practical events. Okay. And already we told that according to the each step, there are the we are using different types of questions. That is in the preparation step, we are using which type of questions, introductory or review questions, and in the presentation step we are using developmental questions, and in the application step we are using recapitulative questions or revisionary questions. Next, in the test step, we are asking which type of questions, text questions or examination questions, then assignment questions, drill questions, and comprehensive questions. The comprehensive questions means explanatory questions. Okay. Next, what is the difference between the closed questions and open questions? So what is closed question? What is open question? For the last CITS, AITT examination also, some questions have came from this section, closed or open question. So first of all, what is closed question? A closed-end question is a question that limits a person's choice of answers, typically with one-word answers like yes or no. So this type of questions, this answer will be very short, one-word answers. Mainly it will be yes or no answers will be there. For examples, will you please do me a favor? Will you help me? So the answer will be yes or no. And had your lunch? Yes or no. Did you steal the money? Yes or no. Like that, one word answers will be there in such type of questions, and it is termed as closed questions. Next, open questions. An open-ended question, it requires a full or explanatory answers, depends upon the subject's own knowledge or the thinking or the feelings of a person. So you have to give an explanatory answer for that, according to your feelings or your thoughts. For example, what is the purpose of government? According to you, what you are thinking, what is the purpose of government? And what is the favorite memory from the childhood? You have to think and tell what is your good experience or the good memory in your childhood days. Why did you choose that answer? So these and all you have to give your own explanations. So it will be having more full answer you have to give. Such a type of questions is categorized in the open question. Next, characteristics of good question. So all of you are asking questions to the trainees. So how we can tell a question is good or not? So it have to follow these categories. First of all, the question must be, first of all, we will list out what are the categories. It must be clear, simple, challenging, specific, definite, then relevance, language, directivity. So these are the characters or factors affecting the good question. So first of all, clear. So when you're asking a question, it must be clear to the trainees. There must be not any confusion. For example, go through this first, clarity. Who is the Prime Minister of India? It's a clear question. Instead of that, if you are asking, who is the Prime Minister? Is not mentioned India, Sri Lanka or Pakistan, nothing is mentioned. So it is not a clear question. So the question must be clear. Next, simple question. For that we can tell, you have to, when you are asking questions to the trainees, the question must be simple. You have to use simple words. Don't use complex words or synonyms instead of the simple words, because the students cannot identify the did not get the meaning of that word, means they cannot answer you. So maximum try to use simple words in your questions. Next, challenging questions. For an example, how does the cost of a diesel engine car is higher than a petrol engine car? So instead of asking what is the cost of a diesel engine car, other than asking what is the cost of a petrol engine car, you are asking a question, how does the cost of a diesel engine car is higher than a petrol engine car? That means the trainee will think, what are the factors? He will think about the maintenance of the diesel car and petrol car. Then he will think about the fuel. What is the cost of diesel and what is the cost of petrol? So lot of factors or things he will compare and give an answer. So this is called a challenging question. And the next is specific question. So you have to ask the question, specific question. So we can tell, for example, if you are asking a question to a trainee, first trainee, one trainee, he is giving one answer, it's correct. And the same question if you are giving to the second person, he will give some other answer, but it is also correct. So that's called the general type. So maximum ask a question which is having a specific answer. Next, definiteness. The question must be definite. For example, who was your chief minister? So it's wrong, because who was your chief minister means it can be the first chief minister, it can be the second chief minister, lot of answers are there. So we cannot tell it is definite. So who was your first chief minister? So according to you, who your first chief minister means there only be a definite answer will be there. So this type is called a definite. The next, relevant. Relevance means you have to ask questions relevant to the topic what you have taught. So today you have taught one section and you are asking questions not related to the topic here. So not like that. You have to ask relevant, related to the lesson. Then next, language. When the questions asking to the trainees, that language have to be understandable to the trainee. Then next, directivity. Maximum try to ask direct questions instead of indirect questions. So these all are the characteristics of good questions. Next, what are the questioning steps in the questioning technique? So the questioning, we can tell it as an art. So what are the steps in the art of classroom questioning? So first step, address the question to the entire class. You have to address the question to the entire class. What's the logic behind it is, each and everyone have to think, the teacher or instructor will ask the question to me. And what the student will do, each and everyone will think the answer or think for the solution, will be get prepared to give the answer. Then second one, allow the learners to think for correct answer. After asking the question to the entire class, you have to give some time for recollecting the answer from the memory. Then third step, call a trainee by name to answer the question. So third step, you have to mention the name of a trainee, then ask the question to the particular person. And fourth step, even a correct answer is given, don't accept it, pass on to others. So when you ask the question to the first person, he have given the answer. So no need to disclose whether it is correct or true or false. Then you can go for the next person. Then you can continue that. Then fifth step, repeat or give correct answer and ensure all class should hear you. So after asking the question, finally the instructor have to give the correct answer to the entire class, that is audible to each and everyone within the class. And also, sixth step, you can give an opportunity for the trainees to clear the doubts or misunderstanding is there. Doubts and misunderstanding is there means you can give the opportunity to the trainees to clear that doubts. So these are the steps coming under the questioning technique. So once again, first you have to address the question to the entire class, and after that you have to allow the learners to think the correct answer, to think the correct answer and or recollect the correct answer from the memory. After that, you have to call a person by name and ask the question to a particular person. Then fourth step, you have to, if the trainee is given the correct answer or not, even though you can, if the trainee given the correct answer also, you can pass the question to the next person. And finally, you have to repeat the correct answer to the entire class. And also you can give, so for example, in the presentation time, the trainee is having some doubts. So finally, you can give the opportunity to the trainee to clear the doubts and the misunderstanding. So these are the steps involved in the questioning technique. Then, next, improper techniques of asking questions. That is, we can tell don'ts, whatever not to be done. Double and triple question. For example, while questioning a trainee, you are asking multiple questions to a single trainee. For example, what is an analog computer and what is a digital computer? It's not required. You can ask a single question to a trainee. What is analog computer? Other else what is digital computer? That's enough. Don't include double or triple questions within a question. Then rotational questions to the same learner repeatedly. So when you are questioning the trainee, evenly you have to question the trainee. That means you have to ask questions to each and every one within the class in a rotational manner. Don't ask that question to a same or a particular trainee continuously or every time. That's also an improper technique. Next, questioning continuously. Then, for example, if your section is 30 minutes or 45 minutes, then you are asking questions to the trainee, 20 minutes for questioning you are using. Continuously asking questions to the trainees. That also an improper technique. Then, questions asked to the bright trainees only. Some instructors is having a practice to ask questions to only the bright trainees or whoever topper in the class. So that is also improper technique. So the question has to be distributed evenly to each and every one. Next, asking yes or no questions while teaching. So like that questions means, for example, you're asking a question just like he is a good leader, yes or no. So within the question itself, you are giving suggestion for the trainees for the answers. So don't ask the questions like that. So maximum how to use the yes or no questions within the question. Okay. So these are the things we have discussed. So once again, we have discussed about the purpose of a question, importance of question, then the purpose of question and the classification of question, and also the what are the steps involved in the questioning technique. So next, any queries you can go through.